everyone, Dandelion Princess here, and welcome to the very first episode of Spotlight, where I shine the spotlight on shows and video games that I don't normally talk about here on the channel. So how this is going to work is the first part of each episode is going to be sort of a spoiler-free version. That way, if you guys haven't seen the show or etc. that I'm talking about, you can see if you're interested in it before watching it for yourself. But then the second part of each episode, I'll go into spoilers and more details on why I really like whatever I'm talking about. That way, people who have seen whatever I'm talking about get some of my more in-depth thoughts. That being said, for the first episode of Spotlight, I'm going to be talking about Ducktales. Just to be clear, I'm going to be talking about the 2017 reboots. So let's jump into it. First off, just so you guys know, I never really watched the original Ducktales, and I pretty much wasn't planning on watching the reboot. I don't know what it was, but I could just never really get into Ducktales the way I could with like Goof Troop or some of the other Disney shows that were on. That being said, I also was more of a Nickelodeon kid growing up, surprisingly. Though I loved Disney movies, some of the Disney shows just didn't quite do it for me. I really only liked the ones that were based on Disney movies, such as the Little Mermaid show, or the Aladdin show, or the Hercules show. But again, something about the original Ducktales just didn't quite interest me. I think there was just a little too much action, a little too much adventure for me. I know that sounds weird, but you have to understand, as a kid, action things and all that just did not interest me whatsoever. Even back then, I was way more into like the story than like fight scenes or anything like that, and was always way more invested into the characters. So I really didn't have patience for shows that didn't have much character development or just had a little too much action. Nowadays, I do enjoy a good fight scene, but still, I really do still hold the story and characters higher than action sequences. And I cannot watch spy movies or buddy cop movies that much because of it, unless they're a comedy. But back to Ducktales. The thing that made me interested in the reboot was what they were doing with Huey, Dewey, and Louie. It became very obvious that they were trying to change these characters up, not only in the way they looked, but in their personalities. They are of course still triplets, but I love how different they are to one another. And their dynamic really impressed me from day one.
I can't leave you boys alone for 1 minute.
You were supposed to get him out by 10 o'clock? Hubert! You were supposed to signal before you started the boat, Dooford.
We never get to do anything.
Well, this usually never happens. This is really weird. Okay, stop talking! Anti-disestablishmentarianism! Seriously? Gah! We got lost.
Thanks to old Captain Lost. Why would you put me in charge of the map again? This is not on me. Captain Lost! Captain Lost! Ooh, you changed the tone of that chant!
Come on.
Yeah, they seem like a real tight crew.
And I couldn't help but enjoy these characters. They also actually have Donald Duck as a character in this reboot, and I'm not sure if he was in the original Ducktales at all. He may have been in like maybe 1 episode or 2 or something. Again, I never really watched the original, so I wouldn't know, but I definitely know he wasn't in it much, because I probably would have watched the show a little more if he was. Now, Donald isn't in all the episodes, but I do love that they included him. And I just love the family dynamic between Donald, the boys, Scrooge, and everyone. It's just really interesting to watch. I have come to really love the Duck family. Going into Scrooge, he is just really enjoyable in this reboot. I really wasn't expecting him to like be a funny character, but he actually really is. And without giving anything away, I'm just going to say that sort of his backstory and everything is just really, really interesting. And it really does show you why he is the way he is. The side characters are also really interesting. Characters like Launchpad, who I don't think changed very much from the original, but he's just funny. It's to the point where he's like so dumb that like you wouldn't think it'd be funny because it's like, oh, it's just stupid. And sometimes it is, but most of the time it's to that point where just somehow he still manages to make me laugh, even though I shouldn't. And Webby is just really sweet. I do know that she was a character from the original series, but that she was not a very liked character. I don't really know much besides that. But she is a really interesting character in the reboot, as she's never really had any friends before, and the boys are like her first friends, and it's just really kind of cute to see how that all plays out. I even actually like some of the villains in this series, like Flintheart Lomgold. He's just a really funny antagonist. And even though in the beginning I used to kind of dread him coming on screen, I really have come to like him more as a character. The show is very similar to just how the original was, with it mainly being like Scrooge and the boys going on adventures. Sometimes Donald's there, sometimes Webby's there, circumstances are different. But I have to say, each one of their adventures is really interesting to me. And just seeing how the characters like handled certain situations is really fun to see. This series may seem like an episodic series where you could just jump in and watch any episode you want and it wouldn't matter. Something like SpongeBob where, the events of one episode don't carry over into the next. But for the most part, that's actually really not true. Though the show advances its plot slowly, it does advance it, and events are more important than just to that particular episode. And even if it's not that important of an episode, whatever character development the characters got in that episode does indeed carry over. And I've been surprised on multiple occasions just how serious or emotional that this show can actually get. All in all, there is so much heart that went into this reboot. This is how a reboot needs to be done. I am just constantly impressed with this series. So there you have it. This next section is going to have spoilers. So if you haven't seen the show yet, go ahead and give it a watch if you think it sounds interesting. Also, if you've seen the show but you're not completely caught up with it, definitely dip out. Okay, so as I said, this show can actually get insanely intense sometimes. And I'm just like, why is this so emotional? Why is this moment so emotional right now? The scene where Huey and Louie find out that Dewey has been looking for their mother and trying to find out more about her without them, like, I was not expecting that kind of emotion coming from Louie, because Louie, he's always like the sarcastic one. He's just, I don't know, he's just always funny and stuff, and then to just see that he's like, oh, she's, he's like, she's our mom. I'm just like, wow, it's just so it's heart-wrenching.
Or you just kept it to yourself so you can feel special. Classic Dewey. She's our mom!
Okay, it's just... First, I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to get hurt. Then I couldn't tell you because I found out all this stuff and I didn't want you to hurt me. I'm sorry, okay?
You're only sorry because you got caught!
Louie, are you okay? You kept a secret about Mom. That is not okay.
And then we get another amazing scene with Louie when Della actually comes back and the boys see her for the first time.
Where are my...
Who's the cyborg?
Is that?
It can't be.
Guys, I think that's your mom.
Huey, Dewey, Louie, meet Della Duck.
Man, this has to be a trick, or a curse from Magica, or a parallel universe, or Mom!
Louie's my favorite character. He's hilarious. He has those emotional scenes, and it's just like, oh, what? Yeah, he just really is. Also, I just love the whole thing with Della, how they've been sort of exploring, like, what happened to her. Now I'm interested in what happened to the boy's dad. But yeah, like, that's something that even when I was little, I always wanted to know, like, where are their parents? Why are they with Scrooge? Why are they with Donald? And this show finally is answering those questions. And when we finally start to get the episodes with Della on the moon, those episodes are just awesome. I really enjoyed seeing those. And I love Della as a character. She's super interesting. It's kind of like she never quite grew up in a way, but she has super good intentions. And I really love, you know, when she does get back to Earth, the interaction she has with the boys.
Hey, look, don't get me wrong. Of course I'm happy to have Mom back. But I don't know. It's probably my fault. I've gone so long without a mom, I guess I don't really know how to have one.
That's because she's not a mom. Not yet, anyway. She's been gone for so long. You've got to give her time to figure out who she is and how she fits into this family.
So I really love that the series is tapping on those sort of more emotional issues and really expanding these Disney characters. And yeah, so much heart went into the series. There are so many callbacks to the original, as well as other shows that were going on during that time, such as Goof Troop. Like, they really set this universe up as if it's one big universe. I'm just sitting here waiting for a Goof Troop reboot or a Darkwing Duck reboot. That's another thing. Like, this show, I just like characters that I wouldn't expect to like Darkwing Duck. You know, when he came into the picture of the actual show and became an actual character, I was like, oh, that's kind of, I didn't think it was going to be good. I was like, that's kind of lame. But I swear to God, I loved it. I loved that episode with, they're making the new Darkwing Duck movie. And the way it ends, I'm just like, oh, he's going to be an interesting villain, isn't he? And it's like, I hope they do a reboot for Darkwing Duck and some of these others. And I hope it's the same people who worked on it, because I want that same level of heart to be in it. I mean, there's even this callback that just really put a smile on my face.
Yay, where is my plane? And Dewey? And oh no.
So stand up above the crowd, even if I gotta shout out loud. Tonight is the only face that you see. Gotta stand out.
If you don't know what that's from, that is actually a reference to the Goofy movie. So yeah, in the Ducktales universe, Powerline is a thing. I freaking love this show. It gets so outlandish sometimes that it's like it really shouldn't work, but somehow it really does. Yet again, it just nails those emotional moments so well, and I'm like, how is it able to do both sides of the coin so well? I mean, okay, it's obvious that Huey, Dewey, and Louie have different voice actors in this series. That way they all sound different from each other. But they actually even brought back their old voice actress to voice a different character in the series.
Don't understand a word I say is so furry on you!
Uncle Donald?
Who are you? How much did you hear? Did you like it? Answer me!
I swear to God, I don't know why this wasn't done sooner. She makes so much sense to voice act young Donald. It's scary. It's like this is her true calling. And I'm just like, please, I hope we see more episodes with young Donald so we can really enjoy this. All in all, Ducktales is a very fun show with a lot of love and some stunning animation. It just leaves me wanting more every time I watch a new episode. But those are just my thoughts. What do you guys think of the Ducktales reboot? Who's your favorite character, and what was your favorite moment in the series? What are you most excited for going forward? Let me know down in the comments. Also, be sure to let me know down in the comments what I should put in the spotlight next. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.